Okay, I'm back. So I had to have a little cut there. Where was I? I was just talking about these villagers in here, and this is over here is the how you go to the Tropicraft dimension. Sit in this chair and drink a pina colada at sunset. It takes you there, and then to go back and forth, I just use the waystones. Here's another one of my guards I have from the rats mod. Excuse me. Does a pretty good job of guarding things, but he won't attack things unless I attack him first or they attack me. So there is a filter, a mob filter you can put on there so they would attack things, but it just doesn't seem to work right. So I try to filter various mobs, and the rat went right after a creeper and it exploded an area. So it's like, I didn't tell you to go after creeper. And then he went after this guy. He was just kicking his ass. Oh, excuse my language. He was kicking his bum. And this is the golem from Ars Nouveau. And he's a pretty good guardian, but they need to be more numbers, otherwise they're not very good at what they do. Not as good as this guy. All right, the next building that we'll go into is the building for the bees here, and these bees are all operating on the simulators, so they don't have to go outside like these lapis bees. And pretty much all of them I can shut off now. I've run enough quarry, so I don't really need this material, except sand. I've never gotten a quarry with a lot of sand in it. I guess I've never put it in a desert. I guess that's why. But it's I still need the sand coming in. Everything else I pretty much don't need. But they're fairly slow. I haven't upgraded many of them, so just let them go. And I haven't put bottles in them for a long time, but they're all here. And I use them in early game. I use them a lot. And each one of these hives to take up one of these little bays in here. You have the hive and various items around it, and then they would, run around in there and stuff. But as it turns out, I don't really need such a big area. Of course, to get this simulator upgrade, you've got to have some honeycomb, and you've got to make this anti-teleportation thing, and you just need ender pearls. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. How do we get there again? Oh, here it is. Simulator upgrade. What's the recipe of that? Simulator. Upgrade simulator. We needed the upgrade anti-teleportation. Blaze rods. Well, I guess it's not that big of a deal. It's kind of like still early game materials. So maybe next time when I play through, I can do that a little bit earlier. It's not a big deal. Then here is the star charger for Silent Gear. And this is is that 7x7 multi-block. You have 2 blocks up. These blocks are not important. They could be anything. But on top, you have 3 choices, and I have Tyrian steel here. And I can't remember exactly what that is. It's an alloy you make with a Silent Gear alloy, which I'll show you in a second. And you would grade things first, and you wanted to go as high as you want, at least triple S, which doesn't take that long. And hopefully max. And then you would put it in here and do star charging. Okay, so you don't do star charging first, because it'll be erased when you go through the grading process, so you don't want to do that. And I have some automation here to take fully star charged 3 items out, go in this chest, and I'm using star metal dust as the catalyst. It's tier 3. All right, here is the portal for Twilight Forest. Then let's go into the main base here, and if you look from above, it is a 2x3 structure that is within chunk boundaries. And I added this overlay so you could see this as well as light levels. So it's a different overlay than in the mod pack initially. And you can see also in the top right, you can see I added journey map. I just couldn't play without that. So you can see they're within the chunk boundaries, and that the outer walls are outside the chunk boundaries to maximize space, because I crammed everything in here. And this thing right here is Starfield Creator from Botania. You can see there's little different stars up there. Take this off. There we go. There you go. Some a little bit nicer, sparkly sky up there. All right, so this is the main workroom, the base, and it's kind of a jumble. I admit it. And starting from this side, we have Ars Nouveau, a place for making the essences, and those are accelerated by Source. And we also have the thing for making source gems, also accelerated by Source. And then we have the Amethyst Golem from Ars Nouveau. I have it, there's no we. And he'll convert a block of amethyst into budding, and then he'll harvest it and put it into a nearby chest, which is this one, is the one I assigned him to, using the Dominion Wand. And when they grow, he'll break them off, and then he'll pick them up, put them in there. There you go. They have all the equipment over here for not only apotheosis affixes, getting, I guess, mythic level affixes, and then we have the Sonic Gear Salvager. I have a bunch of stuff running to salvage things. And then we have the salvaging table here for affix items, and gems. So this is the getting the affix materials, for example, these, where you get the Godforged pearls from, and you also get you now can get the gem dust. You used to have to do it through the anvil only, as far as I remember. But now it does it this way. It's all automated. Well, not automated. It's convenient, I guess. This part, the salvager, is automated. It's not running right now. It's all automated through the Ars Nouveau Drigme mob farm, which is not running. And over here we have an anvil which I use to make high-level enchantments. You see over here, just by combining books. Like Protection 8, use that here. And I have an Experience Obelisk that used to be full, but it's still fairly close to full from the mob farm out there. Then Power Diamond Anvil for repairing things, Charging Gadget, Modification Table for modifying your Mining Gadget, and the various bits and bobs of things that you need just to do things. I did have the Template Manager, but I haven't used it. And I could not get a bucket of essence out of this particular obelisk after one of the updates. And so now I have to use this Singularity tank, the XP drain on it, so it comes directly out of me to get a bucket of water. This is a chanting apparatus for Ars Nouveau. And then these spruce netherite chests with diamond stack upgrades in them have a lot of dimlets. I haven't used those yet. A lot of dimlets. All from running, those are all from running Enderman through the mob farm. And then I have a lot of enchanted books, and those come from all of these. There's about 4 or 5 chests of them here. And if I get out the Dominion Wand and hover over the storage lectern from Ars Nouveau, it'll show which chests are linked in here. And if I look in here, I can see I can search this for enchantments. It's the only thing I can find that I know of so far. You can search for enchantments. So it's really quite good. So if you wanted Unbreaking, you can put V in there and see if you got any Unbreaking 5 in there. What am I doing? A caps lock on. There. I don't have Unbreaking 3. Okay, fine. So you can search those in the dimlets as well through this system. And so all of these enchanted books, as well as all these potions down here, came from, which I'll show you next, walking by all this other stuff, the Drigme mob farm. Dragme. I don't know how you... Dragme, I guess. Mob farm, and there's this little Dragme henge. They're all dancing around it. And these are all containment jars containing various mobs. Most of these have no drops, so they're very happy they're here, but they have no drops. And so that's so they'll maximize the drops from the treasure. The treasure. What is he called? Treasure. Here it is. Treasure Goblin. So I got this gem from somewhere, and I put it in a sword, and I killed mobs until I got a treasure goblin to spawn, and I captured him either in an empty soul vial or monster ball from Cyclic. And then I went into this hyperbox and dropped him off in here. In this ritual of containment, which is constantly running and only uses source when it takes a existing mob and puts it into a containment jar. So these source jars have been here forever. And this thing has been running continuously. And so it will put them in there, and then you can pick them up and put them out there in the mob farm. Like I have an Enderman here. I don't know. I don't remember putting him in there. I might have. I don't know how else you would get in here. I'll try to go out this way, if that's the right way. There we go. All right, so there's all the mobs they're working on, and I've got mobs in here for for beef as well as pork, and those are for feeding a Goyams in for Botania to make what's it called, mana, to make mana. All right, so this guy, this treasure golem, has all kinds of fixed items coming out of him, as well as potions and stuff like that. And all the fixed items are sent over here, as well as gems and things with the fixes, and they're sorted. And the key thing here is that the pipes mod, I can show it, yeah. You can actually filter this if you put an ultimate pipe upgrade. You can filter this, and so you can filter this by the apotheosis rarity. And this is what I learned from, again, Epic Enchants. And once I have that, I send the epic and the mythic items over to this chest, which well, I guess I'm sending the epic and mythic. If that's what I'm doing, is right. Sending those gems over here. I can't remember. It's been a while since I set this up, but I think I'm sending them all over here. And then I take the that's for gems. I believe that's what's happening there. Gems. And then all the other items, like if you look in this chest, which I didn't make this myself. This is actually told. Somehow they got into my system over here, my refined source system, which is just for miscellaneous chipped and gems and all the enchanted books that came out of that treasure golem as well. And somehow got full of this armor. I mean, armor and iron stuff. Iron. It shouldn't have been in here. Shovels and all kinds of tools and armor. And those are now prevented from going in here. I found out, but I told it to put them in here, and I set this on exact mode off, so it would send all of them in here. Makes it kind of a fuzzy sweating, and it did this wonderful pattern. Why I did that, but it's fantastic. And things that aren't epic and everything else. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So actually, everything is going in here. That's right. So all the items, armor as well as tools and gems that are epic or mythic go in here. And then if they are not gems, then they get sent over here, which goes over to the salvager that takes off the fixed items and gives me the fixed materials like these God Forged Pearls. That's what's happening with that stuff. And the stuff that's not epic and not mythic goes into this chest, which goes into the salvager. See that chest right there. So there's really, this chest is also sending stuff that's none of those things into this chest, or into this refined storage system, so I can just recycle this stuff, which I have more than enough of everything. I think the max on here is 2,400 cracked gems of the combatant. It's unbelievable. It's incredibly productive. That guy produces incredible amount of materials. They'll fill up your inventory. Over here I have potions of night vision, which you can use to fill up potion bottles, and using the Ars Nouveau potion bottles, which then can use the Alchemist Crown to use a hotkey to drink out of those potion bottles. If I look in my refined storage system under... here they are. So I changed the hotkey, so I can't do that right now, but I have that in my inventory, and I have that bauble on. I can hit the hotkey and drink out of this flask and give myself strength. I believe I have strength 2 at all times now because these permanent charms which I've made. Okay. I'll talk about those later. And then this system here is sending enchanted books as well as other items over to my Botania area. Alright, so let's backtrack a bit. Right here is the refined storage system, pretty standard. Here I've got to basically 16,384,000 storage disk. So that's 16,384,000. And that one's empty, and this one has 358,000 items in it. And then I have one for fluids, because I have an issue here. I usually send all of my fluids into the functional storage system, but that is no longer working. That just happened with a recent update, 1.11 of this mod pack, and they will not put it in the storage system any longer. I have to put it into, either put it into a fluid disk, or you can also do like this tank of lava. You can put on an external storage tank, which is tuned to fluids. And I really, this is an equipment bay back in here, and I really wanted this to be neat and clean. So I made these bays, and yeah, it didn't work out that way. Work out that way. Okay, so fine storage system. It is laggy in here, no doubt. And I have the disk manager, absolutely required for using a system like this, because you're going to end up with stuff in here that you wanted in your functional storage system, but it got over here. And so as long as you have your functional storage system interface here, this external storage set to a very high priority, then once you put your disk through this elite disk storage manipulator, then it will sort those items out. They're supposed to go into this functional storage system, and you'll end up not tasking this system, which costs energy to maintain. And right now I'm using about 9,000 FE per tick. I'll show my power system later. I have the mining dimension. And then I have crafting grid, pattern grid, crafting monitor, a fluid grid, and a fluid grid. I didn't know I had 2 fluid grids. That is hilarious. I didn't even know I had 2 fluid grids. Okay, and then for crafting, all my auto crafting used to be done in individual auto crafters, but I've added reborn storage in this mod pack, which I don't think is in there yet. And this has 17 pages of basically a diamond level crafter. So 17 diamond crafters in this multi-block. And it's not full. I skipped some pages, but I have, hit shift, you can see all the recipes. So this is generally the things that are either, and I use a lot, they're tedious, or, I just don't want to make them myself. Like, to make these hearts, you go through a lot of other hearts. It's really handy to have this system. So most of these pages are blank still. But that's just an enormous system. It's just really good. That's really good. All right, so that's how I do my auto crafting. And of course, I have in my baubles, I have the super wireless grid, which this is a really good hint, by the way. I learned from Reddit. So I have my wireless transmitter here. Do not use the advanced one. So if you want to use the dimensional storage card and you have the advanced wireless transmitter, it will not work. You have to have the standard wireless transmitter. You can see this works across dimensions. It works everywhere. So it's really fantastic, and it works this way. If you do the advanced one, which I had initially, it does not work. Okay, and you can cycle that thing through crafting and fluids and crafting monitor as well. I have an environmental chamber here, environmental controller from RF Tools. So I have saturation whenever I'm in the base. And here's the redstone control that goes over to the mob farm. It's just have a problem with lag over there. Various storage. I have a RF Tools storage scanner for just looking at these chests. It will not sort out the enchantments that I have over here. You can't look for enchanted books on it, so I don't use that for enchanted books. I just use it for looking at this stuff. I got some lag in here. I really have to change the way I do my base. Next time I have to have things more spread out. I went through that stuff. This is various odds and ends. I think I went through that. Yeah, I went through that. The stuff's all covered. This used to be the rats area, and that's been pretty much wrapped up. I have various rats stored in here. Various rat-related items. If you give a rat, a chef rat, this is sort of vegetable thing, it will make for you the confit bialdi. And that's a pretty good food. It gives you full heart saturation. It's really good. All right, and this trash can is used for getting various items. And so I used for progression in that rats mod, I used the modular router to get that work really fast. And then this system over here with the blast furnace is all for arcane salvage. It has to be refined in a blast furnace. And that's used for iron spells and spell books. I set up a separate spawner way out. Because I started this mod pack a little bit early, I guess. And it wasn't in the mod initially, so I had to go pretty far out to new blocks, new chunks, and set up a quarry. And that's kind of a funny story. I lost it. And it took me a while to find it again. I didn't just put a waypoint where it was. I kind of been through this. I didn't talk about this system here. This treasure golem, as I said, produces um, a lot of the word is potions, and I send those potions into this potion melder, which combines two of the potions together and then puts them into this potion jar, which then is then consumed by this alchemical source link to make source. And that's to kind of help the mob farm, I guess. And it allows me to shut off the mob farm. I used to have lag issues out there and have the silver running when I wanted the gems. And it does take a while. It's funny, it's one of those things where it can take a while for you to get the materials you need, and then suddenly you have more than you could ever imagine. But it's still like, you have 20 of these flawless ones, and you're going to use all of those for that blood magic thing, because you're going to convert them into perfect ones. Here, you have to use 2 in here to create the perfect. So that's quite a reason why you need quite a few of these items. All right, so we're moving along. Functional storage system is creating a lot of lag here, and these concentration machines create a lot of lag. So next playthrough, I'll just spread this out to other like mini bases. Not too much to say here. Just functional storage system, pretty standard. Over here we have a little bit of a trophy room from Twilight Forest and the Aether. Some really overpowered items you get from the Aether. They're in a separate area here. You get these gloves, a very good one, +1 attack damage. Iron bubble. That's permanent underwater breathing. Regeneration stone. I'm not exactly sure what that does. And then I've got this cape that I took off, which is perfect invisibility. If you run into a mob or hit them or break a block nearby, they detect you. So it's not going to protect you from that. But if you're just walking around, they won't notice you. I did get quite a few items over there. All right, and here's the back section here of the Ars Nouveau mob grinder, and you can see the modular routers looking for potions, not finding them. And it's a metal alloyer, which we use to make the Tyrian steel and enriched obsidian. Tyrian steel from enriched obsidian. I can't remember what it's made from. I'm not going to guess. And this is used for making various strings. Like I look at this bow. It's a fine silk binding. And that's a combination of 2 or 3 materials. I can't remember what they are, but I have it written down somewhere. So you need to use this fabricator to combine those strings together. I haven't used a recrystallizer as far as I can recall. And the way you want to do that is you want to have this off, and you want to combine your materials and then look at the result before it actually makes it and see if that's what you want. Okay. And this is I was going to say that, I'll say that later on also in my playthrough, but this mod pack is kind of like vanilla crafting recipes of all the mods 9. It's pretty cool.